You may have come across a situation where you're attempting to deploy your Ulterra trolling motor and the motor appears to be unresponsive. You may even see that your remote is indicating that the motor is attempting to deploy, but the motor itself is not moving, and there is no error tone or error message being indicated by either the remote or the trolling motor. If this happens, there are a couple of relatively simple things you can check with just a few minutes of your time and some basic tools. For the purposes of this video, we will be referencing Ulterra models that are model year 2017 and newer with either iPilot or iPilot Link systems with Bluetooth installed. We'll also assume that you have a basic understanding of the operation of your particular remote. If you require more instruction or details about the operation of your remote, please refer to your Ulterra product manual, which can be viewed at minnkotamotors.com. Whether you're attempting to deploy your Ulterra with a standard iPilot remote or an iPilot Link remote, the remote may give you a good clue where to start your search for the deployment issue. Following the steps in this video for foot pedal users may help you to resolve this issue as well. One symptom might be if your Ulterra is in the stowed position and your remote does not show a deploy option, but rather you see only trim and stow options. This is an indication that the latch cam actuator is stuck and the motor thinks it's already in the deployed position. It's important to note that if the remote is indicating the motor is deploying, but the red status light is not blinking, then this is an indication of a more complicated communications issue, and the motor should be brought to a Minn Kota authorized service provider to be repaired. The latch cam actuator can be found on the starboard or right side of your motor, behind the black motor rest that the lower unit sits on when in the stowed position. To access this, begin by removing power from the trolling motor. Then you can remove the starboard or right side plate from the motor by removing the two Phillips head screws on the side. Next, you'll need a 3/16" Allen wrench to remove the two cap screws from the motor rest. When removing the motor rest, be careful not to damage any of the wires behind it. Take note of the condition and position of the latch cam actuator. It's possible that corrosion or other sediment buildup has caused this actuator arm to become stuck in position. Using a Phillips screwdriver, carefully remove this assembly from the motor base and clean and lubricate the mechanism. Once complete, you can reinstall the latch cam actuator using the Phillips screwdriver.
If your motor was manufactured in 2020 or later, it may have the pictured black Allen head screw retaining the latch cam actuator sensor. If this is the case, do not grease the area. Instead, clean it with water-based silicone. If removal of the screw is necessary to clear debris, it should not be reused. It must be replaced.
You can now reassemble the motor rest and side plate, being careful not to damage any wires in the process. At this point, you can restore power to your trolling motor and attempt to deploy the motor again. If the motor still will not deploy when the command is issued from the remote, we'll need to consider a couple of other potential causes. When attempting to deploy and the red status light is blinking, but the motor is not deploying, this may indicate that the motor is physically obstructed. Turn the motor off and remove the right side plate and motor rest again. Turn the motor back on and send the deploy command again. If the motor does not deploy, the obstruction is internal and will need to be addressed by an authorized service provider. If the motor does deploy, there was extra pressure between the motor and the motor rest. Look for any debris that may be collected on the motor, especially in the space behind the steering housing, and clear anything you find out of the way. Debris in this area can bind the lower unit to the motor rest and can contribute to deployment issues. Regular cleaning of the motor shaft, lower unit, and motor rests with a water-based silicone will help to ensure that the motor will deploy more smoothly and consistently. Be sure to do this as part of a good routine preventative maintenance plan. If no debris is found and cleaning and lubrication of the motor does not resolve the issue, we recommend contacting Minn Kota customer service. Please go to minnkotamotors.com and click on the support link for contact options. Hopefully you found this instructional video helpful, and be sure to explore all our content to get the most out of your Minn Kota motor. For more information and instructional videos, be sure to visit our website at minnkotamotors.com and find us on YouTube under Minn Kota Motors.